咩係語言？我哋嘅認知、信仰、文化隨之流傳，以窺見哲理和其背後的意義。三藩市，聲音、語言、人一起交織出這一座城市。粵語跨越時間同距離，扎根於此。當我哋接觸語言嘅時候，我哋可以從自身同社群中了解到啲咩呢？
Doors are opening. 車門正在打開。Puertas se están abriendo.
Some in Cantonese means the heart, but it also has meanings of the mind. There's a balance there, coming from the Buddhist tradition, the Taoist tradition, and even some from Confucianism, is that we see the importance of being able to feel for something, but also to think it through. And so that's where the language and, of course, the culture comes in. The Cantonese language here in San Francisco is actually one of the first of the Chinese languages to appear here. Because in the 1800s, when the Chinese first came to California, they were mainly from the Cantonese-speaking region of Taishan. And then, of course, that means that the culture that the Americans identify as being Chinese was actually specifically Southern Chinese, specifically Cantonese. The rhythm and the actual articulation of Cantonese is very interesting. It's much more, there's much more texture to it. 思及家中事，不覺雷讚的. A lot of scholars do say that Cantonese is more similar to the older dialects. So when we're looking at poetry, then a lot of the classical poems would have sounded probably better in Cantonese than they do in Mandarin. 未過黃河心不息，過了黃河雙淚流. Nope, hold the five a little longer, because that's where we're gonna get that context from, right? I am third generation Chinese American and probably the only one in my family who specifically studies Chinese traditional culture. My nephews and nieces barely speak it and definitely cannot read or write it. If it's not something that they hear constantly, if it's not something that they're really immersed in, you distance yourself from the culture. 居家無步進，他鄉勢逼真，離中千里遠，別早不相近。
Hi, Mimi.
You need some makeup, girl.
I know. I didn't know we were gonna be doing this.
You are not Kobe without the makeup.
I know.
No.
So what am I gonna do?
鬼五馬六. So literally, translation is ghost, 5, horse, 6. We describe someone who is very eccentric.
That's my number.
The Grant Avenue Follies are that type of personality. We love to dress up. You know, it's basically not a normal person and a little bit weird. People don't understand what they are about, but they look kind of interesting and intriguing and fantastic. There had been a lot of hate crimes going on against Asians. The Follies wanted to do something. And I said, how are you going to get the message out? And then these Chinese words just came, you know, 因住我條雞毛掃, beware of my chicken feather duster.
後生仔你咁囂張，因住我條雞毛掃，你唔好喺度扭計仔，因住我條雞毛掃，打打打打打打。
It's a very Cantonese expression. If you grow up in an Asian culture, I would say 99% of the children knows what the chicken batter does to do, not just to clean, but to punish. And which is what the Gaimoso rap is about. You know, the older generation, the elders standing up against violence or misbehaving children. Language is like water. They can flow in and they can flow out. That's the challenge, to try to find the exact meaning of what you're translating. The Cantonese and the English combined, it really represents Chinese American culture.
The elders are your teachers, the elders are your guys. When you mess with them, you're committing suicide. Wise guy, wise guy, wise guy.
Okay, so right here is like a really good prime spot where a lot of people will like ask us questions. So, hi 阿姨，今日我哋有智慧課程唔使錢啊，喺嗰度啊。Yeah. Yeah. 唔該晒。My favorite Cantonese word is Mei Zhe Gua Yan. Mei is the US and then Hua Yan is like Chinese person or born person. And this essentially means ABC or American born Chinese, and that's because I'm an ABC. I always tell people that we need to fight for our culture, we need to fight for our knowledge. A lot of the people that we interact with don't speak English. If we want to be able to serve folks who are being discriminated against, we need to be able to speak the language that they understand. Help! 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 Like that. 大聲啲啊！大聲啲啊！幫我啊！幫我啊！ Help me! Help me! Every Tuesday I have Cantonese class. Hi, Do. When I found out that the Cantonese classes were going to be cut, I felt like it was a big betrayal. It's very dire that the Cantonese classes at CCSF are something that we need to constantly defend. And so that's how the Save Cantonese Coalition was started. We came together because I saw Cantonese as something as a necessity if we want to serve vulnerable monolingual populations.
So what I'm going to do now, I'm going to match whatever Brian is doing as he's going.
佢會對住嗰個壞人啦，佢做乜佢會跟住佢咁做，直接跟住，但你要對住嗰個人。
They say that if you want to kill a city, you kill its language. If I don't keep this culture alive, how could I ever expect that if I ever had kids or something that they would ever know Cantonese? And so culture and language die with us. It is up to the young to really help save and preserve the culture of our ancestors.